Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to this week's episode of Loud Introvert. Thank you for rejoining me after another missed week. I was on such a roll with videos. However, last week I was getting ready to record the episode and I got some pretty unfortunate news. My family dog had sadly passed away really unexpectedly. He was getting old and he was just recovering from an injury, but he was rushed to the vet and basically it happened really quickly. I didn't even have a chance to say goodbye, so I was definitely not in the headspace to record, and I'd love to go into more detail, but it's just like a little too hard for me to talk about still without choking up and crying, because as you know, like, they really become part of your family and it's just so weird to imagine life without them. And he provided me so much unconditional love, and at times when he was a little brat I always felt like he was my little support animal when I would come home after a bad day. And yeah, you just can't get that same connection from a person. So it's hard, and it's been hard on my mom because they were attached at the hip. So yeah, that's what delayed my episode last week. But alas, I am back. And I'm just going to say that was my point of the week. I don't really have a highlight in this solemn time, so I'm just going to leave it at that with that little life update. But to get on a lighter note, today's episode is actually pretty interesting, I would say. It's very niche. So today I'm going to talk about Filipino superstitions, because I feel like ours are a lot weirder than some other ones I've heard. So the Filipino ones that are specifically unique to our culture, I find very interesting. So let's get into it. So the Filipino culture is, I find, very colorful. Same with our history. I think it's just a very unique culture, and a lot of the stuff we do in terms of these superstitions are so weird almost, and they're so specific, and I want to know if there is a history to some of them. I tried to look up some of the ones that were very prominent in my life, but I couldn't find anything on the internet as to how this started. So I don't know if that's just some old lady in the Philippines decided to make it up and word just spread really well, but let's get into the first one. So one of the ones that I don't know if other cultures also have this superstition, but my Lola or grandma used to always say, if you sneeze, that means someone is thinking about you. And I always thought that was so weird, because when I was younger, I had like a weird fear of sneezing, especially when I was home alone. I was really scared someone would say bless you and it was that person that was thinking about me or something, and I would like somehow hear it in my realm, in my world or something like that. But that was definitely one of my biggest fears, and I'm just like, how do they know that, and why are they making me sneeze? Or I don't know if it's the thought of them thinking about you that causes your body to sneeze. Obviously, there's no scientific proof. We all know that, but I think it's always they're thinking something good about you when you sneeze, and then it's something else when they're thinking ill of you. So, I mean, maybe it's cute when you sneeze, just, someone's thinking about you. I always thought that one was so funny. Another one that was weird that I heard growing up a lot, this is the one my mom always said. So in the kitchen, she says if you drop a spoon equals a woman, and it means if you drop the spoon that a woman is gonna visit you. And then again, when it's a fork means a man. I don't know why. I don't know why a spoon is a woman and a man is a fork, but that means a man's visiting you. So when I was a kid, I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, does that mean if I drop my butter knife, a killer's coming, a murderer? Like, is that okay? Like, or is a knife just doesn't mean anybody, but it always scared me that way. So I was always cautious of dropping my utensils because a lot of the time I had no idea if she meant people that we knew or just a random visit, or if it was a ghost woman or a ghost man. So I was very wary as a kid about a lot of these things. So maybe that's why I was so jittery growing up. It might be because of all these superstitions. But anyways, those are the two ones that I heard a lot, and it was stuff that would happen daily. And then there was always times where my mom would drop something and she just wouldn't say anything. I would sneeze and she wouldn't say anything, and I was like, is she not saying anything because they're bad? She senses bad behavior and she doesn't want to scare me. Anyways, she stopped doing that as I grew up, but I still think about these superstitions every time any of these things happen to me. So yeah, that's those are two very weird ones. The third one is moles, and if you guys knew me, I had like a pretty prominent mole on my right cheek growing up, and I have quite a few on my whole body. Like I have a few more on my face. I think I have 3. I'm not looking at myself in a mirror, but I have like 3 on there. I have some on my neck. I have some on my arms. I think I have some on my legs. I need to fact check that. But anyways, moles always meant certain things. And I know this is something that exists in Chinese superstitions as well, but mole placement was a big thing. So it always meant something when you had a mole on a specific part of your body. So for example, if you had one on your ankle, my Lola said it meant you were a partier because you like to be on your feet and you like to go out and walk around. Forehead meant you were smart because obviously leads to where your brain is, I'm assuming. And unfortunately, I did not have one on my forehead despite all the ones I had on my body. Arm was thief, I believe, and I was just like, what the fuck? I have 2 on my arm and I've never stolen anything in my life besides like an M&M from the bulk section at Superstore. And I looked at a chart because, as I said, I have some on my face, and 2 of them are on my right eye, like in my tear duct and just on top of my eyelid. And I'm pretty sure when I referred to a Chinese chart kind of showing what every mole on your body meant, it always said that my future husband would have a good career, but nothing regarding me. So that's nice, I guess. I guess I'm in safe hands when I grow up. I am grown up, by the way. But I always thought it was so dumb. Like, a lot of them had to do with your significant other or someone in your family. And I'm like, if it's on my body, why is it about someone else? But, you know, no one ever had answers for me. And that's why these are superstitions. So those are the mole ones. And I never found out what the one on my right cheek meant, but when I was 18, so my mom let me get plastic surgery to get it removed, and this was my decision, but I had to wait till I was 18 because she wanted my mole to be in my grade 12 graduation photo. Anyways, that made me mad because it was just something I was really insecure about, but my mom thought it was beautiful, but she was also my mom. It really bothered me, so when I finally got it taken off, I felt like a completely new person, and I loved how I looked. And yeah, my mom thinks that it might be bad luck, but so far I don't know if it has directly caused any bad luck. I hope not. I hope it wasn't a mistake. But I can't think about that too long, or else I'll deeply just think about my decision every single day for the rest of my life and blame every mishap on me removing my mole. But anyways, that is the mole one. So as you can see, all of the superstitions are kind of weird and rooted in something that has to do with your life or your future. I don't know. Maybe that's what superstitions just are. Maybe that's the definition of it, but I always thought those ones were weird. So if you grew up with any Filipinos or have been to any Filipino parties, you know that there's always something called pancit, which is our noodle dish. So it's usually just those, I think they're glass noodles or something called pancit canton, which is the thicker yellow noodles. Excuse my pronunciation. But noodles always equaled long life. So you would always have at birthdays and celebrations to ensure that you would live a long, happy life. And it's always bad luck if you don't have it. So literally anytime my mom forgets to make these noodles on any birthday, she's like rushing to make it. She goes to the grocery store to get everything because you just can't have a birthday without it. And if it's not pancit, like sometimes she'll be like, okay, spaghetti will do if that's what we have on hand. So any noodles equals a long life. And I always like that tradition. And that's one of the superstitions that I think I would carry on into my family if I ever had one. I just think it's cute and makes sense and it's delicious, so why not? Another one that I always heard as well was when you have an itch on your palm, it means that a lot of wealth is coming your way. And my Lola would always say you shouldn't wash your hands because that washes away the luck. And I'm like, okay, that's gross. What if you just touch something and got an allergic reaction? But I mean, if you want the wealth, don't wash your hands. But you know how people say that the only way to get that itch is to do the tooth scratching thing that everyone seems to do? Well, don't do that either. But I don't know if this is just something I heard growing up because I couldn't find this on the internet, but I'm pretty sure my mom said if it was on a specific hand, it was wealth coming to you, but then if it was your opposite hand, it means that you were about to spend money, but I can't remember which one's which. I feel like right hand was wealth coming to you and left was you spending money, so I was always like, wait, what? And even when my palms were itchy when I was younger and I didn't have any money, my mom's like, no, like you're gonna spend my money. So, you know, it affected her. Again, with the mole thing, it affects people around you, what you have on your body, apparently. I didn't even realize the theme with all of these being related to your body because the next one is literally when you bite your tongue, that means someone's talking about you, and not necessarily in a negative way, but it just means that you're on their mind, your name just came out of their mouth, and that's why you bite your tongue. So it's a lot with what to do with your body. And then another one relating to your body is apparently when you jump on New Year's, like right when the clock hits midnight, you have to jump, and it symbolizes having a greater year, but also if you're younger and you're still growing, it'll make you get taller. But clearly that superstition doesn't work because a lot of Filipino people are short. Even the dudes, short kings represent. So maybe that's why they created the superstition, but you know what, after all this time, looks like it's proven to not work. But you know what, maybe it does symbolize a greater year, having a better year. So if you want to jump on New Year's Eve, let me know if you do that. I feel like it's just fun. You're already kind of like up and about when the clock hits midnight anyway, so if you're at the club, start jumping and don't explain. Okay, so the next one used to scare the crap out of me, and this is where my fear for this animal stems. I think it was my uncle who first told me about it, but he basically said if you saw any moths, it was one of your dead relatives watching over you. And I've heard other articles and people saying it's butterflies, but to my knowledge, it was always moths. And moths are already kind of gross, and a lot of them live in the garage. So every night when I would come home from either school or dance or something like that, I'd see the moths like fly up when the garage light came on and I went into park, and it literally gave me goosebumps and shivers down my spine because I was like, oh my god, I don't even want to know. And I felt bad saying ew to them because they were so ugly, but I'm like, wait, that's my dead relative. I don't want them to like curse me. And I'm like, why do they come back as something scary? Why can't they come back as like a puppy or something? But apparently they're your dead relatives looking after you, and I don't know if that's why they freaking stick themselves close to your house. But moths are so disgusting, and I hope this one's not true because Dad, if you're listening, can you please come back as something else and not a moth, because it's just not, why a moth? I really do want to believe that the butterfly one is more accurate, but, and all growing up with all my relatives, they said it was moth and not butterfly. I guess butterflies are just butterflies to them. But yeah, I have a really deep fear of moths. I think they're disgusting, and even talking about it right now kind of makes me feel itchy. So let's move on. Another one that scared me growing up, maybe this is why I was so scared and skittish as a child. I don't know. I'm blaming it on all these superstitions. But one that I heard a lot, I don't know if this is because they just wanted me to not do this, but it was to never sleep when your hair is wet. So I used to have to shower at the end of the day because in high school especially, I would dance at school and then I would also dance after school. So it was kind of dumb to shower in the morning because then I'd have to go to bed all sweaty and gross. So I would always shower at night, but I was always too lazy to blow dry my hair, and I was just so used to having it air dry, and it's not that good for you obviously to put that heat on your hair every night. So my Lola and my aunt and my mom would always be like, if you go to sleep with your hair wet, you could go blind or go crazy. Which I don't know why. And I would always go to sleep with damp hair. So I'm like, maybe one day I'll just have to get glasses, or maybe I'll just be semi-crazy. I don't know. You guys can let me know if I'm crazy or not. But this was, I think, probably taught by just other mothers and grandmothers to young girls, just because, I don't know, you could probably get sick going to bed with sopping wet hair, and it's probably gross on your pillow, I don't know, or to just like have your head resting on something really cold. So I don't know if it was just like a sickness thing. I don't think you'd actually go blind or crazy, and obviously there's no medical basis behind it, but yeah, I think it's just basically catching a cold is like the worst that could happen to you. But I looked this one up because this one actually did scare me, and there is hardly any information about the origin of this superstition, and I don't know, it's just like one of those old wives' tales. But yeah, another one that I did see was just someone on Reddit saying that you just have a higher susceptibility to like fungus or mold on your pillow, because obviously it just keeps your pillow damp for a long time, which makes sense. But again, nothing to make you blind, so you're all good. But getting an infection from a moldy pillow is still like highly unlikely if you just do it a couple times with damp hair. But again, if it's sopping wet and you do that every night, it is gross, and your pillow will have that wet towel smell, which is disgusting. So maybe it's just good practice to not do it, but you know what? If you fall asleep with damp hair, you're fine. So funny enough, another one to do with taking a shower or bathing in general is to never bathe when you're tired. So Filipinos have always been told to never bathe immediately after any strenuous activity really, or just a tiring day or sweaty workout. So again, when I would come home after dance, all I would want to do is hop in the shower because I was sopping wet in my own filth. But I was always told to wait like a few minutes or do it after dinner or after I eat or something so my body can calm down, because apparently it can lead to something called pasma. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's spelled P-A-S-M-A. So if your native language is, or first language is Tagalog, don't judge me. I don't know if that's how you say it. I know it's probably not pasma because that's too Western sounding. Anyways, it means basically it can lead to numbness, any tremors in your body, and further excessive sweating, I think is what it means. The term originates from the Spanish word, I think, espasmo. Again, I cannot pronounce these things really well, so if it's not accurate, don't at me. But that basically means spasm. So this is just caused apparently by the cold being trapped inside your body. So again, no scientific basis, and skipping showers can actually lead to acne on your body, I don't know, a breeding area for freaking bacteria and maybe fungus again. But apparently you should wait to do it because I don't know if it's because in the Philippines it's so hot that people shower in cold water that's why they mean it's like all that pain is being trapped inside your body. But I take hot showers. Actually, side note, I've been doing this thing every day where I end my showers really cold. So I did this thing on TikTok that basically introduces cold showers because apparently it's really good for you and has lots of health benefits like gut health, stress relief, helps your anxiety and depression. I don't know if that's true, but it has been giving me a little bit more energy after my showers. So basically at the end of your regularly hot shower, at the end I turn the knob almost all the way. If you do it all the way to the coldest setting, you kind of lose your breath and it's hard to breathe. So I would recommend just going like a little colder than normal and then like working your way down. But I've been putting it in 5 seconds, last 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and now I'm on 30 seconds this week. And it feels so good. Like it actually makes you feel so refreshed after coming out of the shower. And I think athletes bathe in ice baths after for their muscles. So after the gym or any workout class you do, I'd recommend trying that because I don't know, it feels so good. And I feel like my muscles aren't as sore the next day. Like I've been going to spin. I've been trying to at least. And I was so sore the first couple times I did it, to the point where I'm just like, oh my god, I can't fucking walk. But when I started doing the cold shower thing, I am still sore. Like I still feel it, but it's not to the point where it's hard to do stuff and it's like physically hard to move your body in certain ways. Like I can move my body, but I can still feel that I had a workout because sometimes feeling sore is nice too. But anyways, yeah, if you want to try the cold shower thing, do it, but be wary of this superstition. Okay, there are so many more I could go through, but I am gonna just end it here. I know that there could definitely be a part 2 because there are so many more superstitions I've heard, but I'm gonna end it with this one. And it doesn't really relate to me funnily enough. Funnily? I don't know. Is that a word? Am I okay? Anyways. Siblings should not marry in the same year. So if you watched any Filipino TV or movie, I think it's a movies, there's something called Sukob. Again, I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's SUKOB. And it's basically a horror movie where there is so many misfortunes in a family because I think that this happens to them. And this whole movie was inspired by this superstition. And I think it's believed that siblings should schedule weddings just at least a year apart to prevent a curse. So I don't know if this also relates to Chinese culture, because I think in the movie they talk about feng shui. The explanation is basically that marital luck is divided between the siblings and therefore it causes a lot of misfortunes in your life. So whether that be you can't have children, you have a fight, you end up in divorce after a short period of time of being married, it's because you're not getting all the marital luck that you should get by having your own wedding year. So luckily enough, I don't have that to worry about. But God, guys, that movie was actually scary. And I don't know if it would be scary now or just cheesy, because a lot of Filipino horror movies were cheesy and did not look real at all. But back then when I was younger and it came out, I was literally terrified. There was this part, I'm 99% sure it's from this movie, but the main girl is in bed and she like rolls over and sees like a freaking dead zombie dude version of her husband, or just some zombie dude in her bed, and that always scared me. So that's why I sleep with multiple pillows touching me, so there's no room for a ghost to visit me in bed. And luckily I have my boyfriend John now, so it doesn't scare me to turn around. But when I was living at my mom's house, it always scared the crap out of me that someone was either next to me when I rolled in bed, so I'd never open my eyes right away, or someone was like standing over my bed. Those are my two scary scariest things about going to sleep by myself. And yeah, it was all because of this stupid movie that I don't know why my mom let me watch this, but anywho, very scary movie. You don't want sukob. I don't know if that's how you use it in a sentence, but make sure if you're Filipino and you have a sibling that you don't marry in the same year. I feel like that would be really expensive for the family, so I feel like that's also another reason why. But I do know I've heard in other cultures that having 2 weddings within the family in the same year is lucky, so you know what, to each their own. Do what you want. But yeah, that is my last one for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this one. I was debating putting this one out around Halloween because I feel like it would be very fitting, but I have a better idea for Halloween, so stay tuned for that one. It'll be a little bit of a spooky episode. I can't believe it's almost freaking October. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Please manifest for me that I am going to get a job acceptance this week because I am itching for one. I literally had an interview for one that I really want, so please keep me in your thoughts and kiss your pets if you have any and cuddle them. Anyways, again, thank you for listening. Talk to you next week. Bye.